skin has just been not having it at all, and I already have like sensitive skin that breaks out really easily. So it just needs a little bit of attention tonight. So I thought that we could just do a little face mask together. And just as a reminder, if you enjoy the content that I create, please be sure to click the like button, and leave a comment with any feedback for me on the video, as well as suggestions for future ASMR videos that you would like to see from me. And of course, I would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe as well, so that way you can get notified when I upload a new video. So I've got my little brush here, and I do apologize if you hear any like car sound in the background. My neighborhood is pretty busy even at night, so sometimes it doesn't really matter how late in the evening I try to film. There's always going to be car sounds, but I found that filming during the work week is a lot quieter than on the weekends. I also do live in the like air traffic area of my city's airport, and it's a pretty busy airport, so I also apologize if you hear any airplane noises as well. I'll do my best to edit those out and reduce that background noise for you, but just, wanted to provide that little caveat before we get started. So I've got my little brush here. I always like to use a separate brush when I apply face masks. I just find that it applies a lot more evenly, and it's a little bit more sanitary, I think, than just using skin. And it's very hydrating. It is a pumpkin puree infused with pumpkin seed oil and sun clay, so it is hydrating and refreshing, and it's really, really soothing and nice to use on dry skin, which is what I have going on right now. So the first thing that really hits you when you open it is not only the really pretty like orange spice, like pumpkin spice kind of color, but oh my god, it literally smells like fall, like a pumpkin pie. It smells so good. Oh my god, and like it's so pretty. So as you can see, I have used a little bit of it over the last few weeks since I've got it. Just because it is like one of my favorite masks that I've used lately. So just going to grab a little bit and apply a thin layer to the skin. As you can see, it is fairly orange, like I look like I've got a really bad spray tan right now, but it doesn't stain the skin or anything like that, so it's really, really good. And this is not a sponsored video by any means. I just really, really like this brand. I have struggled with my skin literally since I was like 12 years old, and I'm 24, so like 12 years of my life I have been dealing with breakouts and blackheads and little like white heads along my jawline and dry skin in the winter. And when I find like a saving grace brand that saves me money and actually works, it's great. I have spent like hundreds of dollars on like facial treatments, skincare products that don't work, really expensive luxury skincare brands that also didn't work for me. So finding this one on Instagram, it is still fairly pricey, but to me it's worth it because it's effective. So I'm just going to get a little bit more and apply to the other side. This has like the most luxurious feel when you apply it, and it also, just the smell just like permeates the air, but it's not like a super heavy smell. It's very, very like nostalgic kind of fall smell. It just smells so good. Like it puts me right in like the holiday mood, like instantly. So just getting another little bit for the forehead. past few years, like I look back on pictures from when I was in college, and like I only graduated a couple years ago. But like seeing how like inflamed my skin used to be, and it was just so like red, and I had really bad like cystic acne all on my cheeks and along my jawline especially was really bad. I mean, it still is like where I break out the most, but like it used to be so painful, and like it was so embarrassing too, because like it wasn't just the cystic acne that like is painful, but it was also the texture of my skin has always been like pretty bumpy, with like whiteheads and blackheads and stuff that just like build up. Just closing up the mask here. So like putting foundation on and like trying to cover up my skin with makeup really just made it look super cakey, and like even worse than just leaving my skin bare and just showing the world, you know, how inflamed it all was and everything. But seriously, finding like this brand, and like I have a whole like skincare routine from this brand. It is so amazing. It has like it doesn't use any water like from the sink, which I thought was so interesting when I first bought it and was using it. It has like a hydrating face mist that you like saturate your skin with, and it feels so luxurious. Like literally, this is like the most luxurious skincare experience I've ever had at home. And you know, I've had facials and stuff like that a lot, and it just feels nice to be able to have that level of care at home, where it's still kind of pricey, but it doesn't like really break the bank in my opinion. But it's a hydrating, like, you know, facial mist, and then you could take like a cotton pad and you soak it in the actual cleanser itself. The cleanser, and the cleanser is like hydrating as it cleans, and it feels so nice. And then after you cleanse, if it's during the daytime, you will then put on the moisturizer and a sunscreen. Always wear your sunscreen. Never skip out on SPF protection. And then at night, there is a serum that you can get. And you like warm it up in your hands and press it onto your skin. And then after that, you apply a overnight mask, and the mask is like has pink clay and some other ingredients in it, but it just like sits on your skin as you sleep, and it doesn't get all over your pillow or anything like that. But it is like an overnight miracle worker. I swear, like you can have like the biggest like pimple or like inflamed skin, and it just erases subreddit that I will be reading from is called r/creepy encounters. So this is people posting their true stories of encountering creepy stuff out in the world. So I thought that we could just read this together and yeah, just kind of spook ourselves before we go to bed. I love like scary movies and spooky stories and stuff, so this one is called My Hills Have Eyes Moment in Texas, and it was posted by user wolf_dream, and this said that this story was posted about a year ago. In 2010, I was driving from New Orleans, Louisiana to Eugene, Oregon. It was just me, a 24-year-old female, and my 2-year-old pit bull in a 14-foot U-Haul truck with everything I owned crammed into the back. A fancy flip phone and my printout of MapQuest directions. I think the first smartphones actually came out around that time, but I didn't have one. Cell phone service was also much spottier, and there were long stretches through the desert where I had zero service for hundreds of miles. I was driving a lonely stretch of highway through central Texas when I realized I hadn't seen a town or exit for a very long time, and my giant U-Haul was really low on gas. Just when I'm starting to freak out and seriously run out of gas, I see a small town coming up. I pull into this town, and it is tiny. I was so worried about other things that I never did pay attention to the name of the town, but there were only about 6 streets in the whole place. I go gas up, and I am ready to get back on the road, except I cannot for the life of me find my way back to the highway. I circle the town about 4 times and start getting so frustrated because this is such a tiny town. How the F can I not find my way out? I can literally see the highway but can't get to it. I return to the gas station to ask for directions. Now when I got gas, I paid at the pump and never went in. When I enter for directions, there's a skinny, nondescript guy who has black hair hanging down in front of his eyes that looks like it could use a good wash. He's not particularly creepy, but a little rude. He never really met my eyes and was looking down at a magazine. He gives me directions that don't sound right at all. He's telling me to take a road that will get me to the highway in about 17 miles. For a moment I am dumbfounded. Then I point out that I didn't drive that far to get from the highway into town. Why so far to get back to the highway? I can literally see it from the town. He's so casual, almost like I'm just an annoyance and can follow his directions or not. Why should he care? He gives me some explanation about the road curving around that doesn't really make sense. He still doesn't look at me. Just whatever, I gave you your directions. We have to stand in the direction of the door. When I got into the parking lot, my whole body started trembling violently and my heart started racing, seemingly for no reason. I get into the truck, and as soon as I put the key into the ignition, I burst into tears. I had the most terrible feeling that, no matter how nonchalant he acted, this man had bad intentions. I didn't know what, but I knew right then and there that there was no way I was going to follow his directions. Yet this was the only store in this little town, and, short of knocking on doors, no thank you. There was no one else to ask for directions. I decided I didn't give a crap if this town seemed like something dropped out of the Twilight Zone. I was going to drive around until I found my own way out, even if it took all night. Then a big red beater of a pickup truck, as much rust as metal, pulls up and disgorges the quintessential Texan man. Huge, husky, and in flannel and work boots. Without even thinking about it, I jumped out of the truck and approached him quickly yet warily. Looking into his eyes, I saw a kind human being, or at least I was hoping I did. I asked him if he could please give me directions to the highway. I told him I knew it was silly, but I just couldn't seem to find my way back. He looked concerned as I was visibly upset, so he made me laugh and very cheerfully gave me directions for a hairpin curve turnoff, right at the end of a small concrete tunnel I had passed several times. He said it often confused travelers because it was so hard to see. They need to put up signs, etc. With a sinking feeling in my stomach, I asked him how far in miles was it back to the highway. He laughed and gave me a funny look. Miles, miss. I'd say it's a quarter mile at most. You can see the highway right from here. At this point, I couldn't help it. I had to know. What happens if I drive? And I gave him the directions the man in the store had given me. Texas looked at me very intently and asked me how I knew about that route. It was pretty far out, and usually only locals know about it. So I told him. He was quiet for a few minutes and then asked what the attendant looked like and if I had a map of the state. Nope, just my MapQuest, which wasn't helpful in this situation. He goes to his truck and grabs a raggedy local map from his glove box. Spreading it out for me, he traces the route I described, the way the man from the gas station had told me to go. Led away from town, away from the interstate, and led to seemingly the middle of nowhere. Texas told me that the road did go about 17 miles right before it did ended in the desert. I asked him what was out there, and he told me that it was nothing but some junk cars and a few trailers and mobile homes, all owned by the same family. This family was known locally as troublemakers, meth heads, and alcoholics, and these were the nice things that townspeople had to say about them, and the erstwhile clerk was part of this family and lived about that road. I'll never forget the look in Texas's eyes as he told me this. He also told me that I was smart to listen to my instincts, and he told me to be careful traveling out there. I don't know if the man from the gas station wanted what was in the back of my U-Haul or what was in the driver's seat, but thankfully I didn't have to find out. Oh, and I learned that sometimes angels look like ruddy-haired Texans with scruffy faces and rusty pickups. Thank you, random Texan stranger. You really saved my butt, and I will always remember you with tons of love. Sorry I didn't ask your name. You're forever Texas to me now. And then there's an edit here. Edit. Thank you everyone for your time and reading about my crazy encounter and all the wonderful comments and awards. Y'all don't even know how many times I almost didn't post this. Thank you for all the kindness and well wishes. Love y'all. Edited for time, frame, and age. Talked to my mom and realized I was wrong about the year it happened. She also helped me finally figure out why I couldn't place where this happened even though I've made this drive several times. This post is long enough, but the circumstances that took me off the beaten path across Texas were so bizarre that I guess I blocked them out of my memory until she said something. I thought it deserved its own thread. Ooh, that is like one of my worst nightmares. Like something a little bit similar to this. I remember, so my freshman year of college, one of my friends and I decided that we wanted to go to Arizona for spring break because there was a concert that I wanted to go to out there, and we were going to school in Utah, so it wasn't like, it was a far drive, but it wasn't that far of a drive to get to Arizona. So we're getting all ready and everything and like packing up our stuff and like saying like, oh, like we're gonna switch off driving and grab snacks and like all that kind of stuff. And the concert that I was gonna go to ended up getting canceled, but we still decided to go to Arizona because she has a family that lives there, and we also decided that we were gonna go visit the Grand Canyon together and go and hike and just have a good time. So we leave from way up in northern Utah at like 5 p.m. and the total drive time to get to where we needed we set off for Arizona, and we were like, we're just gonna switch off driving, and like, we had lots of caffeine with us as well, and we listened to a lot of music, like really loud, that way we could stay up and all that stuff. But sorry about that again. My dog got up and shook and like was clinking his little dog tags. His little dog tags. But somewhere in the middle of nowhere, again, not sure if it was Utah or Arizona, but it was probably like 2 o'clock in the morning by this point, and like obviously like we're like super tired, but we're maybe like a few hours out from our uncle's house where we were going to sleep and then continue our drive to the Grand Canyon the next day, or I guess that day. So we are driving, and it's obviously super dark outside, and it's like a very like on the left hand side, so the driver's side was like all of these like trees, like it was like almost like a pine forest type of thing. But then on the passenger side, it was like this really big like hilly grass area that almost looked like a meadow or something like that. And like the creepiest thing was that there was just like this rusty old pickup truck parked on the side of the road there, like no hazard lights on. Literally just looked like it was just a police, like just parked there, police there, like I don't know. And like I don't know, like just like seeing it out there in the middle of nowhere with like there were no houses in this area, there were no lights anywhere indicating that there was you know, like a cabin or anything nearby. It was literally just an old pickup truck, like parked on the side of a highway, basically a 2-lane highway in the middle of nowhere. Like it was so creepy, and it really could have just been nothing. It could have been that the car broke down, and like obviously they're gonna come back like during the daytime to come and tow it, or it just broke down and they got a ride and they just like left the car there, like yeah, whatever, like that happens all the time. But when like you're 18 years old and it's like you're 2 girls driving like on this trip by yourselves, and like I don't know, everything just like spooks you, it seems. Looking back now, it's kind of like just, it is what it is. Like there's probably a logical explanation that is not anything like creepy or nefarious or anything like that, but this story kind of reminded me of that experience that I had, which, I don't know, looking back on it now, I'm like, was it really the best idea for 2 18-year-old girls to drive overnight for like 12 hours straight? I mean, probably not, but that's like part of the fun of being like, you know, on your own and stupid. Alright, so I am going to go and wash off this mask with some warm water, and of course apply like so much moisturizer, because my skin do just be so dry out here. So thank you for hanging out with me tonight and just kind of chilling out and unwinding a little bit. And again, please like and subscribe, and of course please leave a comment. But honestly, just liking the video and leaving a comment is super huge as far as getting my channel out there on YouTube for other people to find.